playing some more automation. Today we are building a luxury car. So this will be the Mastiff brand. I've decided to go up a year to 1963 because that's when this body unlocks, which I think fits the idea of a luxury car quite well, unlike most of the other cars unlocked at this point, which do not fit that at all. The only thing that might fit is this dashboard body that I have, but that's from 55 and it also looks kind of weird. And all the other ones are even earlier and I don't want that. So instead we're going with the 63 body. Then let me just quickly set up the chassis and then we'll go on to the engine. Alright, so for the pen material I have chosen aluminium. It is not the safest, the safest is steel actually, but the reduced weight and just the, I guess, prestige in a way of having aluminum instead is why I'm choosing it. For the chassis, obviously monocoque. Chassis material I chose corrosion resistant because it's essentially the same as steel and galvanized, but just costs more and helps against corrosion. So that's why I decided to use that, because money is not going to be an issue here, and having something that holds that has less corrosion issues seems like a good idea. For the longitudinal engine I could use transverse now to help with cabin volume, but I've decided to go longitudinal because going transverse in this body would be sacrilege. Then suspension front and rear double wishbone, seeing as it has the most comfort. Then let's go to the engine itself. I'm thinking about either a really big V8 or possibly a V6. Or a wide V6. Just because we have enough room in the engine. Room in the engine bay. I could also make it a boxer 6, which I think the original has. There's no real difference in prestige other than how many cylinders. But yeah, for this I'm gonna go with a big V6. Then you can probably make it the biggest it can get. Yes, we can. Obviously, no expensive spares for this. Though I might actually go with a standard overhead cam. Just I don't like in the 60s. This seems better. And then I'm just gonna go and design the rest of the engine. Though I'm also already going to decrease this a bit. And yeah, it might be that I reduce this to perhaps 7.5. We'll see. We'll see. And then I'm gonna design the engine and then show that off afterwards. Alright, and here we are. So I've decreased the engine size to 5 liters. It makes 287 horsepower, that should be more than enough. Forged most of it. Revs to 6,500, which is great. High compression, rather low, or medium compression, not that high. I couldn't get it higher without better fuel, but I didn't want that. Cam profile rather low because it helps with the smoothness, which is obviously great for comfort. And rather high springs and lifters, just, to have this work out. Actually, at this point, I might as well do this, but that's not good for smoothness, so... No turbos available. 4-barrel twin carb standard mid. Super leaded fuel. Slightly decreased the fuel type just because it's usually how it goes. Fuel mixture as high as I can make it. Ignition timing as high as I can make it for the throttle response. 6,500 RPM limit. I could increase power by decreasing ignition timing because RPM peak. But yeah, this helps for the throttle response, and I wanted that. And then long tube dual 2.2 inches or 57.1 millimeters. which is still the best option, and then reverse flow first and second muffler, just to get that noise bit down. And then I decided to have some fun with the actual colors, because as you can see, glass is an option. So I decided to make the front and the valve cover glass. Just so you could look into the engine. I think it's really cool that they made it so that you can actually see everything work, and it gives a cool effect. You could also make the what do you call it here, the stump. You could also have that be glass, but I decided to have it aluminium. Glass would look roughly like this. You know, you could see the pistons, but chrome would also go. But I decided to stick with aluminium. I just prefer that. And then some chrome up here on the air filter with golden trim, because again, it's a luxurious car. It's supposed to be something cool about it, something special. Now let's listen to a stunt, because I haven't yet. That sounds really nice. Yeah. Big old big V6. I could have put a V8 in there, but I personally quite like V6s. And then obviously the big four-door. I could make it a convertible, but nah. And yeah, I'm just gonna go and design the car. No, not the car, not design the car. I built all the things in the car, and then I'll show that off to you as usual. Alright, and here we are with the sort of finished car. Obviously still to designing, but that comes afterwards. Now, right here, we have drive type, rear-wheel drive, manual gearbox, 4-speed. More gears would have been better, but you know, we have to wait for that. I put the top speed a bit higher than it should be, and the spacing a bit lower than I might have wanted to, just that with a wheel spin. Then medium compound, because they have the most comfort on them. Rather big tires actually, especially in the rear. Mostly just to have with the wheel spin, and then the front has to balance out the rear tires. Brakes, rather big. I would have wanted a lower pad type, but that's not possible due to, you know, actually I could make these bigger and then decrease pad type a bit. That might work. Aerodynamics, just put semi-flat on there just to help a bit. And then handmade phonograph plastic quality for these seats, just to get that comfort in there. This is a luxury premium car. Driver aids, Android power steering, plastic quality, just to help a bit there with prestige, comfort and drivability. Advanced 60 safety with awesome quality. Weight made heavier because it helped with comfort and reliability. There's some spelling mistake in reliable. Yeah, well, anyways, the car now weighs 1.8 tons, which great, but more comfort. And I just distributed the weight towards the rear. I would have wanted it to have towards the front because, you know, engine further in the front is good for comfort, but there was way too much wheel spin, so I moved it back a bit. And then suspension, the best I could do, comfort and a bit of tuning to get it, you know, more comfort. I'm quite proud of this car. Busted protector is what I already called it. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and design the car, and then afterwards show that off to you. here we are with the finished Mastiff Protector. I tried to keep a similar design to the old Mastiff with lights, one central grille and two small grills. It's actually the exact same grills as back then. Actually, I wanted to change something, but then I've got just this one. I'm just making it, making the outline body color. That's the show I wanted to change. Anyways, similar design. I had to sadly make the license plate a bit smaller in order to have it fit. But you know, that's how it goes sometimes. Sadly, the old Mastiff dog is not available anymore. So instead I chose this knight from another ornament mod. I think it also fits quite well, especially with the protecting and the entire idea behind the brand, with like luxury but also a lot of safety. And I had to make the rear quite big, so it kind of had like a muscle car-ish thing, which I mean, look at the body, of course there's some muscle car-ish thing in there, but no, that's how it had to be. And then in the rear I had a lot of space I didn't know what to do with. I decided on these lights because they kind of just fit the general aesthetic. I want to try something. I might have rushed some things in this car. That's this and this main body colors. Yeah, that works. License plate slightly moved to the side in order so I have space in the middle, because look at the size of that. In order to open the trunk, I decided on this because it looks kind of cool. That's not. Oh yeah, because it's not cool. And then the Mastiff, just written down, kind of like here in the front. We also have Mastiff Protector. I also had this one say Mastiff. And then this is supposed to be a sword and a shield. There's no actual badge of that, surprisingly, so I used the shield thing. I used one line which goes about here, then the triangle which I stretch in order to have the tip of the sword, and then the pommel just made out of the circle. And then I decided to write Protector sideways just to fill out the space, and yeah, I'm surprisingly quite proud of this one. Then let's head over to BeamNG Drive. And here we are in BeamNG Drive with the Mastiff Able on the right and the Mastiff Protector on the left. As you can see, I try my best to recreate the front and sort of update it. Sadly, I didn't have space for the extra lights underneath the vents, but you know, I'll add those in with different cars, or with the next car. Then the sides, well, you know, there's not much to say here. Both have suicide doors in the rear, and this one has extra indicators on the side. This one does not. I should probably add those back in. This one had the fuel here. This one has it here, and while the rear is completely different. This one says just Able for Mastiff in the rear. Doesn't have any badge for Mastiff, and has the weird reverse lights there. This one does it all a bit more normal, but obviously still has the weird Protector written sideways. Also, this one has a V6, this one has Boxer 6. Then, as usual, let's try the old car, see how that one drove, and then let's head over to the new car. But a wheel spin. It drives surprisingly well. But you can tell that it's quite heavy, as it still takes a while to get back up to speed. But it does get up to speed. The brakes are not there though. Suspension wise, it seems quite nice, quite yeah, I can imagine this one being fairly comfortable to drive. Let's still drive over here. It's gonna bump a bit, but all in all, it's quite nice. Then, let's drive the new Mastiff Protector. There's the difference with that engine. Yes. Kinda wanna. There is no whisper if you just go, so I don't know what the game was complaining about. Obviously, doing this will lead to a shit ton of whisper. Well, actually, a manageable amount of whisper. It's different, certainly, because it's way louder. Brakes are better though. Turn signals, obviously it doesn't have the ones on the side, but that doesn't matter. And yeah, the ride on this one also seems quite nice and comfortable. Oh, there we go. That's probably an issue you wouldn't have had with the original Mastiff. It certainly has a lot more power now. I'm honestly thinking about reducing the engine by perhaps a liter or two, just to make it more comfortable to drive. Let's do a jump, as always. Handles it surprisingly well. And then let's head onto the water area. I'm not sure what you expected of a rear-wheel drive car with a bunch of power. Which, again, too much power. I was thinking about decreasing that, but I can't, because that would, change the results of the tests we're doing here. So I could just redo those. But let's just say this time Mastiff kind of took inspiration from Adam and decided we can do that, but ours is going to be better. That's just going to be the lore I'm going to come up with here. I'm going to try and decrease power next time. Now let's do the gravel circuit with it, which this car is not made for. Well, no. Well, other than piston and obviously dragon breath, none of my cars are actually built for off-road. Although this one should handle it quite nicely, I think. Just because of the softer suspension. Even if the rear-wheel drive is going to cause some issues, I believe. Well, surprisingly no. Well, it kind of does, but you're able to control it surprisingly well. Oh. And yeah, no, this one drives surprisingly well on gravel. Will probably be quite a comfortable ride. But it doesn't have that luxury look and feel as the old Mastiff has. Like, it's more of a muscle car this time around. But I also didn't really know what other body style to choose from, so this was kind of the only thing I could do, which is just a really, really big muscle car body. Maybe a smaller engine, and just removing those giant wheel arches and decreasing the rear tire would maybe make this feel more luxurious. But I don't know. I'll do that for the 70s. I'm also actually gonna look at a big 70s luxury car before starting to build And then for 2000s, I'm just gonna make it. I think for 2020, this is just gonna be an electric car then, obviously. But we're not there at all. So for now, let's just drive this Mastiff. Let's see if we can get up the dirt hill. No issues. Perfect. Well, maybe on the way down. Yeah, honestly, I am being I am actually kind of annoyed at the fact that I put way a big engine in here. Should have come to horsepower at like 100, because it doesn't need more. And even still, I did limit horsepower, just not enough, I guess. Anyways, it's time for the handling circuit. But it does drive surprisingly well. Yep. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, I shouldn't drive on dirt, but it happens. Oh. Yeah. That's on me. Yeah, no issues dealing with that bump. Nope. It probably shouldn't be this slidey. You know what, I think I'm actually going to go back to BeamNG and reduce the wheel arch, reduce the rear tire, and bring down the horsepower by a lot. It doesn't need to be this fast. And in order to test the completely over speed of this thing some more, we're gonna head straight onto the back straight on the circuit. And just doing a top speed run, and then I'm just gonna very quickly put on a cut to the new one. I'm actually gonna give it a slightly different name so I can have both versions just to compare it better. And, you know, a bit of fine tuning. You know, sometimes you have to do that. The other cars are all, you know, they work as how they are, and I'm happy with them. But this is the first one where I'm really just annoyed. Like it just doesn't feel like a luxury car, at least engine-wise and those giant wheel arches. It feels like a weird mix between, you know, it just feels like a premium muscle car, and that's not what it's supposed to be. Anyways, and yes, I'm repeating myself, it's just, you know. Anyways, let's just do a top speed run, just to have something to compare it to after I've finished touching up the car a bit. We're not even in 4th gear yet, holy shit. It doesn't need to go this fast. The fact that I held that is surprising. Also, the brakes are quite nice to have. ground, it can just accelerate and accelerate and accelerate, and also the engine sounds, you know, like a big block. I mean, it is a giant engine, so I'm going to shrink that a bit by about a liter or two. I don't think I'm gonna make it a boxer because I don't want to change it too much. I'm gonna make two more versions. One with just a smaller engine, one with a smaller engine that's also a boxer. I mean, a boxer would fit quite well under the hood here. So let me just put a cut here, and then I'll see you back at the back straight here with 3 counters. Alright, and here we are back with 3 different master protectors. Here on the right is the original one with the way big wheel arches. Here is the second version I made with, I mean, it looks way more normal. Also, it still has a V6 underneath, but as you can probably tell, it's a tad bit smaller, but only a tad. And then over here is the third one, which has a boxer. This is going to be the one we'll be using because it is way better. In order to demonstrate, I'm going to turn the original one on and just drive it straight ahead. This feels like a muscle car. Yes, I fucked up the rear, who cares? The point is, too much power, not enough handling, engine way too loud. Then, second one. Engine is a bit more muted, but still quite loud. But it doesn't look as much as like a muscle car anymore. You can more easily see it as a luxury barge. But the engine still sounds like a muscle car engine. And lastly, the boxer version. A lot quieter. A lot smoother of an engine, but it still has more than enough power. Around 160, both this one and the smaller V6, so we lost around 50 to 60 horsepower. The other one had 200 something, so at least 40, and then probably around 50-60 horsepower less. Still more than enough power. More drivable actually because of the reduced power. So yeah, that's why we'll be using the boxer version as the official one from now on, and we'll just call the other one prototypes. Yes, which is why it's also the one that was seen in the showroom for the thumbnail and for the animation, because yes, I do those before I go into BeamNG. So we'll just call that a prototype that was shown off at like a car show. Sure. And then people complained like I did and they made this. Yeah, that seems plausible. Anyways, let's head to do the actual test track because we took some time, so I won't be doing a pre-run. I'll just be doing the time trial immediately. So I'll see you there. And here we are at the short racetrack circuit. Let's go. You can also see the G-forces on the right side of the screen. These should, hopefully, be smooth and not bumpy due to the suspension not sending the car flying too much. I hope. Also, this thing drives quite nice. You can really tell now that it's luxury and not just a weird premium muscle car. Really feels premium and luxurious. Honestly, I can't wait until hydropneumatic suspension is available as an option, because that will make this car drive even better. I think we'll be getting ourselves a really nice first time. But I'm still going to do a few more attempts, just to see if I can possibly get the time even better. Honestly, I'm not sure what time we'll be closest to. So 1:28, 1:56. Right. Anyways, I'm just gonna do a few more attempts, and I'll show you the one that gets me a better time. One 25.658. Alright, well, the attempt that you saw should be the 1:25.658, which puts the Mastiff in third place right after the Atom. The Atom had a 1:24.238. So it's about a second faster than the Mastiff. The Falcon, meanwhile, is about 4 seconds slower than the Mastiff. So, yeah, the Mastiff fits roughly in the same area where it was last time, though last time it was actually faster than the Atom. This time the Atom is a bit better designed, so obviously the luxury car is going to be slower, seeing as it's quite heavy. Yeah, and I'm very happy with it now that I have put a different engine in and removed those hideous wheel arches. Yep. There we go. Aha! Good suspension. Oh, well. Somewhat good. Anyways. This is still This is not just about this. Is probably one of my favorites. Just overall the Mastiff. Just because building big luxury cars is actually quite fun, especially when you make them. Especially when I just get to design and make them look cool. And I think I did make it look cool. You are free to fully disagree with that. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this episode, and I will see you all next time. See ya!